Hey there, welcome to another episode of UXL Android tutorials. In this part of the tutorial, we will get started with Android Studio and build our first Hello World application. App development becomes a lot easier with Studio features, and it's very easy to get used to the Android Studio environment. This tutorial will introduce you into the steps that are followed to create a simple Hello World application, walk you through the structure of Android application, and explain some of the key files involved. You will be following the similar steps for all the application that we will be building throughout this series. So it's recommended that you follow this tutorial carefully, and this will let you lay down a solid foundation to app development. I have divided this process into three parts. So in the first part, we will create our first Android project. In the second one, you will be introduced to the Studio interface and get acquainted with the project environment and create the Hello World application. And in the last one, that is the third one, we will run our app on the Android virtual emulator and on your very own Android device. So let's get started. Launch your Android Studio and let's start with creating our very first Android Studio project. And another thing, Android Studio is continuously updated and improved. So do not worry if you have another version of Android Studio. The flow of steps will be very similar across all versions. Start by giving it an app name and a domain name. These are the two very important things that will be used to form the unique package name. Apps are distinguished on Play Store according to their unique package name. So if you own a domain, type in that or give a random domain which is unlikely to collide with that of another developer. So let's just call it our first hello, and a domain name I'm leaving it to be the default, and this is the package name which is given to you, and this is the project location. So your project when it is created will be found under this particular project location. This will be the workspace for your project. Let's click on next. The next key step comes in selecting the target API and the target audience. Help me choose option under here will let you choose a larger proportion of audience who can potentially use your application. So as of December 2016, you see that 97.4% of the users are covered from developing our target version to be just ice cream sandwich. So let's start by giving our minimum target SDK to be ice cream sandwich. To make it really simple for our first application, let's target only phones and tablet as of now, and let's click on next. Let's select an empty activity and click next. Activity is nothing but the user interface. It's a screen where the user interacts, and let's give it a name for our first activity. Let's call it first hello activity. And the other default layout files and other files are automatically generated along with this. And also by default, this first hello activity is the first activity or the screen that opens up when a user opens your application. Let's click on finish, and this will start to create our first Android application. This may take a while on the first run. So each time you open a project on Android Studio, it'll give you a pop-up tip. These tips are useful from a beginner's perspective, so please go through them if you're new to Android Studio. And congratulations, we are done with creating our first Android project. This is the activity file, and the corresponding layout file associated with this activity is here. This is the XML file. In the next tutorial, we will explain some of the files that are involved in the project structure of the Android and get used to the various tools in the Android Studio environment. Thank you for watching this video.